someone in your life is using this on you right now. And the reason you haven't noticed is exactly why it works. Picture this. It's Thursday night, 11:47 p.m. Your phone buzzes with a message from a friend cancelling tomorrow's lunch plans. Again. As you stare at the screen, a familiar frustration gnaws at you. It's the third time this month. What does it take to make them realize they don't own your time? The truth is, there's a psychological principle behind this, often overlooked yet universally felt. A phenomenon where many people feel undervalued but can't pinpoint why. Why do people treat us as their fallback? And why does this pattern repeat so consistently that psychologists have a name for it? Let's start with the intermittent reinforcement concept. Here's how it works. Sporadic rewards make behaviors more persistent. The psychology behind it draws from operant conditioning, where rewards given inconsistently lead to stronger behaviors. Think about a partner who sometimes showers you with affection, but other times seems disconnected. The unpredictability keeps you hooked, because when the reward comes, it feels significant. Studies suggest that this kind of reinforcement can lead to more persistent behaviors compared to consistent reinforcement. Now, consider how this plays out in the workplace. A manager who occasionally praises an employee, rather than consistently, creates a dynamic where the employee strives harder for recognition. It's a trap, as many find themselves working overtime, not due to explicit demands, but the hope of acknowledgement. But here's where this stops making sense. Some individuals seem to break free from this by becoming indifferent, and they still receive the praise or affection. What these exceptions reveal is a deeper secret. It's not about the reinforcement, but your emotional dependence on it. Recognizing this shifts the power dynamic, making you less susceptible to manipulation. This principle of intermittent reinforcement ties back to understanding why fallbacks occur. It's about perceived worthiness. So, why do some people seem immune to these gains? The next principle is the scarcity mindset. It's simple. We overvalue what's rare. When someone's time or presence is hard to come by, we begin to equate its scarcity with value. Think of a friend who is perpetually busy. When they finally make time for you, it feels like a treasured event. This mindset can make you overly eager to accommodate them, even at your own expense. Researchers suggest that people often perceive scarce resources as more valuable, which explains why we chase the elusive over the available. In social settings, this scarcity plays out when a colleague who rarely attends gatherings becomes the center of attention when they do show up. Their infrequent presence creates a perception of importance among peers. However, simply limiting your availability isn't always effective. Some people respond by losing interest altogether. The deeper layer here is balance. Being scarce yet engaged when present creates allure. It's not just about withdrawing, but being exceptional when you do engage. Understanding scarcity helps decipher why some continue to chase those who can't be controlled. So, if being less available raises your value, why doesn't everyone adopt this strategy? The third key is reactance theory. This law states that when people perceive their freedom to choose is being restricted, they desire the restricted option more. Imagine a teenager who begins listening to a band just because their parents dislike it. The forbidden fruit effect is a powerful motivator, explaining behaviors across ages and cultures. According to studies, options framed as being restricted often see increased desirability. Let's apply this to the professional realm. Say a supervisor decides you're not ready for a challenging project, and suddenly it becomes your single-minded goal to prove them wrong. But doesn't this theory suggest that if you stop trying to control others, they'll want to engage more? Yes, but here's the twist. Not everyone responds to freedom the same. Secure individuals might appreciate the autonomy, while others may simply drift away. Understanding your counterpart's psychology is crucial in applying this principle effectively. Reactance explains why attempts to control often backfire. If freedom encourages desire, why do some still submit to control? The next concept is the principle of least interest. It posits that the person who appears to care the least holds the most power. In relationships, the partner seemingly less invested tends to dictate terms because the other fears loss more keenly. Research suggests that in asymmetric relationships, the partner with lesser interest often has more influence. In the office, a team member who shows minimal concern for a project can end up shaping it more than those who are visibly invested. Their distance creates uncertainty, prompting others to seek their approval or insight, thereby increasing their sway. However, this principle can backfire if perceived indifference leads to genuine disinterest from others. The nuance lies in balancing detachment with moments of genuine engagement, showing just enough care to keep others involved, without appearing indifferent. This principle deepens our understanding of why people seek control. They fear the vulnerability least interest exposes. If less interest grants power, why don't more individuals embrace it without consequence? Next, consider the reciprocity rule. It's the innate drive to return favors. This psychological principle suggests that acts of generosity create an implicit debt. When someone treats you well, you feel compelled to reciprocate. But when this rule is used manipulatively, the generous act is a calculated move to bind you to a sense of obligation. Surveys indicate that reciprocity can significantly increase compliance rates. In personal relationships, this manifests when a partner does something thoughtful, leading to an expectation of future favors. It's a subtle, often unspoken contract. Yet, this principle faces complications when genuine kindness is mistaken for manipulation. The key is distinguishing between authentic generosity and strategic gifting, recognizing intentions before reciprocating. Reciprocity explains why some people feel owned by others' kindness. It's the invisible chain of obligation. If it's so powerful, why do some people remain untouched by its pull? Let's delve into the social exchange theory. This concept suggests that human relationships are formed by the use of a subjective cost-benefit analysis and the comparison of alternatives. Essentially, we assess relationships based on the perceived rewards and costs, seeking to maximize benefits. Think of a friend who persistently borrows from you, but seldom returns the favor. Over time, the cost of this relationship may outweigh its benefits. Research suggests that individuals often reassess friendships based on the perceived balance of give and take. In romantic dynamics, this theory often explains why some partners stay in seemingly unfulfilling relationships. They weigh the emotional and financial losses of breaking up against the comfort and security provided. Some studies suggest that people often stay in relationships due to fear of loneliness rather than satisfaction. But here's the catch. Some individuals feel satisfaction from selfless giving, defying the theory's expectations. This highlights the complexity of human emotions, where genuine care transcends calculated exchanges. It's about aligning personal values with relational dynamics, ensuring both are nurtured. Understanding social exchange helps us grasp why we might cling to certain relationships despite imbalances, questioning what we truly value. If relationships are transactions, how do we handle those that defy this simple accounting? Next, we encounter cognitive dissonance. This principle describes the tension that arises from holding two conflicting beliefs, prompting individuals to alter one to reduce discomfort. Imagine a job you dislike but stay at because it pays well. The mismatch between your values and actions creates mental strain. Surveys suggest that many workers experience this tension, leading to stress and eventual change in either belief or behavior. In consumer behavior, cognitive dissonance occurs post-purchase when a customer doubts their decision. Companies combat this by offering reassurance through positive reinforcement, lowering return rates by up to 40%. However, some embrace the dissonance as a driver for personal growth, an opportunity to align their actions with their values. It's not merely about resolution, but understanding which dissonance is worth embracing for transformation. Cognitive dissonance challenges us to examine why we persist in contradictions and what it reveals about our true priorities. If conflict breeds change, how do we welcome it without feeling torn apart. Let's explore the commitment and consistency principle. This concept posits that once we commit to something, we strive to appear consistent, even if it contradicts our interests. Think about someone who publicly sets a goal to run a marathon. The public declaration often makes them more likely to follow through due to the pressure to be seen as consistent. In marketing, this principle is utilized through small commitments leading to larger purchases. For instance, getting a customer to sign up for a newsletter can increase their likelihood to purchase later, reinforcing this cycle of commitment and consistency. Yet individuals with strong self-awareness might resist this pressure, choosing authentic change over external consistency. This suggests a balance, being aware of our commitments and adjusting them to align with evolving personal goals. Commitment and consistency offer insight into why we might persist in paths once chosen, even when they no longer serve us. If consistency is compelling, when is it wise to break the mold? Lastly, consider the self-determination theory. This theory focuses on the motivation behind choices, emphasizing autonomy, competence, and relatedness as core psychological needs. When these are fulfilled, individuals thrive and achieve higher well-being and performance. In education, students who feel in control of their learning and capable often achieve higher academic success. In workplaces, environments fostering autonomy and competence often see lower turnover rates. Employees are more engaged and satisfied when they feel their contributions matter and they have a say in processes. However, this theory can encounter obstacles in rigid structures where autonomy is limited. The resolution lies in fostering environments that nurture these needs within existing frameworks, emphasizing choice and empowerment. Self-determination highlights why personal freedom and connectedness are crucial in life's rules, questioning how we can cultivate them amid external constraints. If autonomy and relatedness drive us, how do we cultivate them in every sphere of life? Returning to that flickering phone screen, now you see more than just a cancelled lunch. You understand the intricate dance of reinforcement, scarcity, and perception. The friend who flakes isn't just inconsiderate, they're unknowingly playing into these very dynamics. And you're equipped with a new insight. Awareness is your shield. The power isn't in controlling others, but in recognizing when they're trying to control you, and quietly choosing to step outside the cycle. Master yourself.